So the student asks the old master, how often do I need to meditate? And he says, oh, an hour a day is fine. And the student says, 1 hour a day? I don't have time for that. And the master says, oh, I understand. You need to meditate for 2 hours a day. I hear you saying you don't have time to add mindfulness practices to your life because your life is full. Of course it is. There's no time to spare. I understand. If you don't have time for mindfulness practices, then you probably especially need some mindfulness practices. Here are my 5 favorite ways to bring mindful awareness into your jam-packed busy day. Mindful walking. You probably do some walking in your day. For 30 seconds of that walking, can you not be talking on the phone, listening to a podcast, thinking about what your coffee order is going to be? For 30 seconds today, can you just walk and pay attention to walking? This can be like walking to your car, every time you walk from your desk to the printer or whatever your situation is. Pay attention to the sensation on the soles of your feet, the changing pressure points and points of contact with your shoes or with the floor. Pay attention while walking. Easy, you can do that. When you lock the door, pause for 5 seconds. So this one I am asking you to add 5 seconds into your schedule. Do you have 5 seconds to spare? I bet even if you're running late, 5 seconds won't make a difference at all. This is like habit stacking. You're tying a new intention or a new little addition to your routine into something you're already doing anyway. So when you physically go to lock your door, when you're leaving the house or whatever, pause for 5 seconds. And you can count down from 5, or you can do a little check-in. Maybe you're achy. Maybe you're looking forward to something. Maybe you're totally absent and planning a conversation you're going to have. And you don't need to judge. I'm not here to judge you for not being present while you lock your door, but it's an opportunity to notice. Link that check-in awareness to the physical action of locking the door. And there is at least once a day, probably, that you're going to add that mindful awareness into your life. Pause for gratitude before eating. This is present in many cultures, and it doesn't need to be particularly religious. You don't need to thank God for the food you're going to eat. It can be pragmatic. You can slot this into your routine as an opportunity for mindful awareness. So pausing for, 10 seconds before you start eating is also really good for your digestion. It gets your nervous system into that rest and digest mode, which allows you to absorb the nutrients that you're taking in. So if you keep talking on the phone, watching TV, typing on your computer, whatever, while eating, that keeps your body in like stress response. If you're rushing while you're eating, then you're not going to digest as easily. So pause for gratitude before a meal, both for the sake of your digestion and as that opportunity to check in. You can use that time to be grateful if you choose to, or you can simply check in and notice. Try to pause for 10 seconds, take a few deep breaths before you start every meal. This one's my favorite. Every time you see the color red, notice your breath. This is another one of those habit stacking intentions, and we're gamifying it. So I think this is a really quick route to many times in your day adding one of those mindful check-ins. So it doesn't have to be red, pick a color, but stick to it. Make it a rule. Every time you see this color, you remember the breath. You don't need to change how you're breathing. You don't need to take any time out of your day. Red, oh yeah, I'm breathing, and move on. It takes no time, and if you gamify it like this and you stick to the rule, you're going to be looking for reasons to notice your breath, which is going to compound over time. I think this one's really effective. Every time you unlock your phone, check in. So do a personal check-in, whether that's why am I doing what I'm doing? How do I feel right now? what emotions are present, what points of contact are there between my body and the floor. Some kind of little check-in. Again, this takes 5 seconds maybe. But connect it to that habit. When you, whatever, your fingerprint or your swipey pattern, when you unlock your phone, make that a rule that when you take that action, you do your 5-second personal check-in. This could even help prevent you from falling into a doom scrolling hole, right? Of course, if you know why you're unlocking your phone, you're going to be entering that activity with some intention. So all of these little habits and tricks are about moving forward in life with intention. That's what mindfulness is. It's paying attention on purpose, living with intention. And this doesn't require necessarily sitting cross-legged on the floor for an hour. This is doing what you're already doing in your life, but doing it on purpose and being aware of what's happening while you're doing it.